Good morning. This is Suzanne Wachtel, and today I want to talk about a very important topic. They're all important to me, but this is very important. Lately, I've noticed that there's a lot of people signing up for caretaking. Caretaking can come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but caretaking, just by the sound of the word, refers to taking care of. It could be taking care of a child, taking care of a parent, taking care of a spouse. But I will tell you, caretaking is really very difficult, very rewarding. It can really make you feel wonderful when you're helping somebody. The problem comes about when you overdo it. When you're giving more than you have to give, when you are going into leaps and bounds, like in the beginning when somebody gets sick, right? Your first instinct is to jump up and help them and save them and take care and drive and do and cook and do. The problem is that many times when it comes to caretaking, it's a marathon, not a sprint, meaning it can go on for a very long time. So in the example, let's talk to adult caretaking. I think that taking care of children is a whole other podcast, and we can talk about that another time, how to take care of yourself along with taking care of your children and your family. And that is, I want to devote an entire podcast to that. For today, I want to concentrate on the elderly, or I also want to concentrate on either your parents, an elderly friend or family member, and somebody even your age. So often I have a couple that comes to me. One of them is starting to fail in health. The other one, perhaps 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, is aging quite well and has a lot of strength. Just by that alone, the stronger partner in the relationship assumes the role of taking care of. And that sounds lovely. However, over a long period of time, if the caretaker is not selfish to a point and make sure that they get enough sleep, that they are taken care of, that their life is being fulfilled, I will tell you, the resentment will build, the fatigue will set in, and illness, even personality shift. I've seen a lovely woman who took on too much, was very resistant to getting help in the house, resistant to getting a higher level of care or even knowing when that time came. And as a result, she started falling and getting health issues herself, with then at that point no one to care for her. So caretaking is a niche. It's very important to assess the situation. Take a look at what you can and cannot do for your partner. If they need assistance walking, getting in and out of a car, that's called transporting. If you happen to have a bad back or a knee issue or a shoulder issue, that is a terrible idea for you to take on that responsibility, because no doubt, eventually and shortly, you too will have an injury. So transporting is one thing. Walking, that's a huge thing. If somebody is a faller and they keep falling and they refuse to use their cane or walker, it is very difficult and super important that you do not lift them. If they fall and they're lying there, you need to call 911, because that sort of weight can take you down. And now you have two people lying there waiting for 911. Sounds silly, but it is true. Eating. Often as people aren't feeling well, certain medications kick in. They have failure to thrive. They're not interested in eating the way you would or going out to eat and enjoying the nutrition. Therefore, it's important to assess the situation, figure out what the ailing person needs to thrive, and then you to take care of yourself, whether it's going out with friends, if necessary, having somebody to stay with your person while you go out. It is important. It's super important. And you need to give yourself permission without guilt to live your life, to take care of yourself, to go on that trip with your friends, and make sure that there's somebody to take care of your partner, your spouse, or your friend. Because if you don't, and you start to commit your life to taking care of theirs, that isn't fair to you, and it's not fair to them, because then you become what's called codependent. If they're doing well, you're doing well. If they're not doing well, you're not doing well. And that is not a healthy way to live. The healthy way to be a caretaker is to be strong and healthy and enjoying your life as best as possible and taking care of or supervising the caretaking of your person. Whether it's your mother, your husband, your child, it really doesn't matter. When somebody needs care, you must be aware that caretaking is a very draining, rewarding, yes, but a very challenging job. And if you do it properly, the results can be remarkable. If you become a martyr and you give more than you have and you take on more than you can handle, it could be a very bad job. This is why many times elder care people get abused. I'm not suggesting you would abuse them, but the caretakers become exhausted, fatigued, resentful, and angry, and therefore let it out on their patient. So if you get anything out of today, it's the caretakers need desperately and most importantly to take care of themselves first. Just like you hear about somebody on a plane, a mother, right? If the plane is losing oxygen, she doesn't start giving it out to everybody else. She takes the oxygen herself. Make sure that she is oxygenated properly, able to function properly, and then and only then is she able and capable of taking care of the people around her. So that is my message today for caretakers, to please give yourselves permission to take care of yourselves, get that massage, buy yourself that gift, take time off, meet with friends, go on the getaway, and just provide at home like you would, like you would for your child if you're going away, or your beloved pet. Just, you set up a team of people to help. Look, if you didn't exist and you weren't here in their life, they'd have to figure it out a different way. Being that you're there to oversee and supervise, well, that's an advantage. So please, caretakers, take care of yourselves, and also find other people that are in this role of caretaking so that you can express the feelings, the positive, the negative, the frustration of being relied on as a caretaker. I have one woman in my practice. She took care solely of her husband for 5 years. And she got very much into the identity of being his caretaker. And that became her life, her role. She stopped seeing friends. She stopped going out. She made her mission and her purpose only to take care of her ailing husband. Then, of course, he passed away. And when he passed away, she fell apart. She had no friends set up. She had no socialization organized. She lost her identity as she had created over the past 5 to 10 years. For 10 years, 5 of those years, he was starting to be ill, and she took him to all the doctors and drove him. And then the last 5 years, he was homebound and bedridden, and there she remained, barely leaving along his side. And as much as it fulfilled her at that time, now that he's gone, she's having a very challenging time at 78 years old, trying to rebuild her life and to make new friends and reignite old friendships. So let's learn from her and many, many others that here are the rules of caretaking. Number 1, take care of yourself. Number 2, make sure you have a support system for yourself and your family member or friend or whoever you're caretaking. Number 3, do not make it your sole purpose. Have other interests and other outlets aside from caretaking. Number 5, please develop a group of people who understand, that are sharing similar situations. And number 6, do the best you can, but continue to live your life so that if and when the person you're taking care of is no longer with you, you don't feel like a fish out of water with nowhere to go and no identity, that you have created a plethora, a community of people. If you're a woman, a women's group to travel with. If you're a man, same thing. Perhaps a card game. Interests that you have that you can continue to have. And then, yes, will you grieve? Will you be sad? Will it affect you? Of course. But it won't be as traumatic and as challenging if you prepare now. It's like preparing for a storm. You can wait and let it hit you suddenly, not have water, electric, and not know what to do. Or you could have a generator, you could be prepared, you could have supplies. Very different when you prepare. Anyway, if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me, Suzanne Wachtel, and I will be happy to review with you. But caretaking, I just want you to know, is a huge, huge responsibility. And for those out there that are doing it, I commend you. It is not an easy job. It is super challenging, super selfless, but please, with a few little tweaks, it can be much more rewarding and not so debilitating and really not a risk to your health. It can actually enhance your health by doing something that feels so wonderful. Have a beautiful day. Take care.